Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. My name is Mikey, and today I want to talk about something that's really important in League of Legends. And I wanted to make a video because I've seen this affect players in the past, I see it affect players now, and I see it affecting me more than I would like it to affect me. So this is fixing your attitude in League of Legends and my opinions on it. And like I said, I'm a Plat 5 player. The highest I ever got was Plat 2. So I don't know a ton about the game, but I do know from better players, and I do know from my own experiences in League that these are the things that really can pull you down. So I want to go into it, each section. So we have two sections here, and I want to talk about each of them. So fixing your attitude and loss. So dealing with teammates, so other players. In my opinion, any negative input you place into chat can only hurt you in game. So typing takes your focus off of the game, especially if you are not a fast typer, if you're like a hunt and peck typer where you have to look. And put down players generally respond with defensiveness, which is also distracting them by typing frequently. People have a lot of pride in this game, and if they don't think they're doing poorly, and they don't want to admit it. Some people do, but very few. So that's distracting them, and you don't know if they can type properly. So even if you're a really fast typist, they might not be, and they might have to look at their keyboard, and they might just rage so hard they just walk out of lane real quick and type to you. So that's not good. And most players will be tilted when playing poorly. I think we can confidently say that. And your comments may push them over the edge, causing them to DC, AFK, or intentionally feed. So obviously this is a low percentage of games. I know some people say, oh, every game I have a DC or I have an AFK. I don't think that's true. Odds are over the course of a large game, you have won just as many games from an AFK as you've lost from an AFK. You might have an unlucky 30 game streak, but in the course of a few hundred games, it's going to even out. So yeah, like I said, even though this is, let's say, just 1% of games, you push somebody over the edge and cause them to AFK or DC or to int, if you're like really rough on them, then that could be the difference between a 50% win rate and a 51% win rate. And over the course of time, that 51% win rate will make you climb. So I don't think that's something we pay attention to. Is minute things can sometimes make a huge impact in our win rate, which will affect if we climb or not, especially if you play a lot of games. So the solution to this is I suggest using the mute all function and do not turn it on to flame. This is the most tempting thing I do if I just feel like sometimes I'll mute all right when I get into game, and then like you're so tempted later, like you just want to make a certain call and you get so upset that you turn it off and say like, hey, Caitlin, stop inting. Like that's horrible to do. If you can keep your cool and never flame, be passive aggressive, then it's a huge bonus to type the occasional words of encouragement. So if you can resist flaming people or being passive aggressive, which is even worse, I think on the NA server, from what I've heard, is just to mute all. But if you can resist it and be positive, that's a huge bonus. So this can sometimes keep players from doing the above game ending function. So sometimes if you encourage someone who's doing poorly, like, oh, come on, man, it's okay, I'm fed, I can carry, just farm, I'll help you out, or a jungler, I'll come to your lane. Even just saying that can sometimes give someone a distraction or an uplifting feeling for a couple minutes. So, and let's say in 1% of games, you can stop someone by being positive from doing one of the above game-ending functions, a DC, an AFK, or an intentionally feeding player, then boom, right there we gained, let's say, 2% win rate. So these little things add up. Obviously, if you're not negative, it's a bonus in this community. It puts you ahead of the pack. So if you're negative, you're normal. In my opinion, if you're mute all, you're neutral. It's based on your play. And if you can be positive, I think it gives you a bonus. So positivity is clearly the best way to go for your elo climb. You can flame them to yourself as you see them make bad plays, but don't transition this to aggressive question mark pinging and chat abuse. This, obviously it isn't bannable, but stop. It's so easy when someone just dies in the enemy jungle doing something stupid to just everyone just spam pings aggressive question marks. And that doesn't do, I think it's less impactful than chat abuse, but some people really don't like to be pinged. I've seen some people where you ping them a couple times and they freak out and go AFK. So if that happens in a very small portion of games, then again, like, you don't know if the guy on the other end is really tilted, and if you ping him once, you might just leave the game. That has happened in games that I've been playing before. So, and if we all took this advice, which we won't, our community would be healthier, and I also believe that our gameplay would improve at a faster rate. I'm 100% guilty of doing all the negative things listed above. It is easy to flame and be defensive, but it is not the way to climb effectively, trust me. So, yeah, I do all this. I think we all do, whether you want to admit it or not. Obviously, I know some people who are, I think when we're playing alone, we tend to be a little more potentially toxic, but because we're not held accountable by our friends, etc. But being aware that you might be a little toxic, which I think most of the community is if you've been around for a while, it kind of just is a learned habit. You learn it from other players and you apply it, and then you get into the habit of doing it, and I think it's really bad. And I think it's something you should just work towards eliminating to get to a higher win rate. So, like I said, this is going to be a quick video. So, and then the second topic I want to talk about is dealing with yourself, which is just as important as dealing with teammates. So before playing, I recommend making sure you are not in a particularly bad mood. If you are in a bad mood, this will translate to poor play and decision making, treating teammates poorly because you're on a much shorter mental fuse. Get rid of that. So get yourself in a good place before playing so you can relax and make the best decisions possible. If you're escaping using League, if you're escaping something, I've been there in the past where like you might have homework due and okay, I'll just play a game of League to get my mind off it. That's not a good thing to do. I think getting your stuff done and playing with a fresh mind, like if you just had a breakup, stuff like that, burying yourself in League can be really tricky because it feels good when you do well, but if you start doing poorly, in my opinion, when you're in a bad place, your toxicity will skyrocket no matter who you are. Because you want the one thing you're doing to go well, and if everything else is going poorly and League's going poorly, it's just going to get worse. So, and then another big thing is understand that you are in the elo you deserve. Elo hell does not exist, and if you have a large enough sample size of if you have a large enough sample size of games already accumulated, then you are most likely at your correct elo, give or take a few LPs. So give or take, you know, maybe from bronze 5 to bronze 4. I'll give you something there. But if you cannot accept this, then you need to do your research on how fast decent players climb with fresh accounts. So, yeah, I really believe in this. I really believe elo hell doesn't exist. I've seen better players do unranked to diamonds in like less than 100 games over and over and over and over again. I've seen pros get placed in the Plat 1. I've seen challenger players get placed in the Plat 1 at the start of the season. They quickly climb up, beating everyone else. Like, elo hell does not exist. You have to be able to carry yourself out of it. And getting in this mentality is toxic because it leads to just berating your teammates. Oh, it's my teammates. It's my teammates. It's my teammates. It's never me. And it's a bad habit, making yourself better at the game because you're focused on how other people are holding you back rather than how yourself is holding back. And you will lose games because of other people. I'm not saying that, but there's always an amount of blame to put on you. If you're a mid laner and you're in silver 2 or gold 3 and you lost a game and you blame your team, and then let's say we replaced you with Bjergs in that game, odds are they would have won that game like 95% of the time. So you do have a huge impact on the game. If everybody feeds, then yes, your team might have lost you the game, but it is not solely on them. It just goes up and down how much of an impact you have on losing and winning the game. Okay, so control your urge to argue with teammates and take the high road. If you are a defensive person, I'm thinking me here, the mute people abusing you in chat. This is the hardest thing to do when someone calls you out and you think they're doing worse than you. You'll be like, what the hell? Like, I think you're shit. I'm doing fine. You're the one that fed. Like, stuff like that is completely worthless to winning the game. So you should mute those people if they're not already muted. And if you don't, then you're just feeding the fire. And I think that's a bad way to go about winning the game. So, yeah, So number 4, honestly assess your performance from game to game and understand when you are in a slump. So on a loss streak, for example, you will be more likely to tilt, be offensive to teammates, etc. Understand this and be aware of your actions and of when you go on tilt. So do you give up quickly? I do this third one sometimes, or if I'm on a loss streak and things aren't going well, I just kind of zone out. I just go top lane. I'm not proactive. I just kind of just stay top lane. I say, screw my team. This one's a loss. Like, I'll FF early. It's just bad. So do you give up quickly? Do you int? Do you zone out? Do you troll? All these reactions will lead to a lower win rate over time, sometimes substantially, and can even get you banned or restricted. So think of like when Tyler 1 got permabanned. He's a really good player, but just think, like, now you see Tyler 1, you saw the pictures on the thumbnail. So it's just a funny joke, but Tyler 1 used to be super toxic with like int, and he got permanently banned, and he gained a following from it. So you don't know if it was intentional or not, his toxic behavior, but I honestly think there was a lot of toxicity in him, but he was a good player. Now imagine, now you see him, how good he's playing when he's a much healthier player, being held more accountable for his actions. And so he's mixing his skill with a more positive attitude. Of course, he puts on a show still, but I really think he's in a better place mentally with how he's reacting to the game. And I just think that's a huge positive for him. He's playing at a very high elo, doing very well. So, and you don't want to get banned or restricted because you lose rewards, you lose your account, things of that nature. So we don't want that. And number 5, be proactive and try to find a way to remind yourself to get in the habit of being a ghost or a positive player. Ghost, I'm thinking like a player that mutes all and doesn't say anything, leaves lobby without saying anything. You just put in your games. You just put in the grind. Or a positive player who encourages your team despite when they're being negative, etc. So both are much better than the most common, which is a negative player. I think a large majority of the player base is negative or even neutral to negative. Some people are flat out really, really toxic, or some players just might be on tilt. You don't know what other players are going through and their real lives, if they're on a loss streak. And I think fixing your attitude can be something that can really help you climb. In my opinion, I think it can honestly be the difference in a few percentage points for win rate. I noticed this with myself. I just went on a pretty long loss streak. It kind of plummeted my MMR, but I'm still in like plat 5, 10 LP. And you kind of get in this mentality where you lose your confidence. You don't think you can carry. You start playing bad picks that you enjoy playing, but you don't normally play. There's so many things that people do when they go on tilt or have a negative attitude. And I think if you can just tighten it up, maybe put a sticky note on your monitor and like just really say, okay, this is how mentally I'm going to go into every game. This is my strategy for climbing. I'm going to apply it. I'm either not going to communicate with people or I'm only going to communicate positively. If you really want to climb for some reason, and this is going to take a lot more effort than just spamming games how you normally play, then I think you'll be a lot more efficient in your climb. So I'm going to cut it off here. This is just a short video. If you're new to the channel, thanks for watching. For my subscribers, thanks for watching. And I'm going to make more of these kind of videos. It's good for me to sit down and type these things out to really cement into my brain what I need to be doing to improve. And also, I think it's valuable for anybody that's into League to see this, whether they're higher elo than me or lower elo than me. I think across the board, negativity affects us all pretty evenly. So yeah, I'm going to cut it off here. Like I said, thanks for watching. Have a great day, guys. Peace.